Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Objectively Bad podcast. My name is Dan. His name is Chad. And once again, we're back. I feel like I'm getting worse at these intros.
I maybe just thought about it too much.
Yes. I mean, it is better than if you did watch the podcast back in its heyday, the glory days.
Oh, yeah.
Episode 1, the intros were abysmal. I think we cut most of it out, but we would sit here for genuinely like 5 minutes trying to figure out how to start. It just would not
We
go
would
well.
go back and forth saying, all right, do you want to do it? Yeah, okay, let me try. We do something. We're like, nah, I don't like it. Let's move on. And also, there was no planning. It was all improv, and also we were being picky. It was the worst combination of the two.
Yeah. Now, I sort of have a rough planned intro, but it somehow is still shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
well.
thought it was great.
Thank you.
I thought it worked.
Chad, do you want to introduce
Let's
what
get
we're
into
talking
it.
about today?
Yeah, so this is a video I came up with honestly months ago. Because every blue moon we bring up Mario vs Sonic. That's what we're talking about today. And I always bring up Mario's great, and Dan's always sitting here, the little devil on your shoulder going, Sonic's better though. Fucking bastard, of course he would say that.
Yeah, it is.
Classic Dan move. So I sat here and I went, you know what? We're a goddamn video game podcast for the most part. You know, bar the last 2 episodes where we talked about movies. You know, we talk about a lot of video games in here. I'm like, we gotta talk Mario vs. Sonic. Like, that's a classic.
Big
You know,
debate.
A lot of people have played the games. It's a good debate. We gotta do it. So you know what? Today we're talking about Mario vs. Sonic. We're gonna be talking a lot about games. We're gonna be talking mostly about games. We will talk about some other forms of media. That is a much more one-sided comparison, and I think we already know where we're ending up on this.
Like, I actually think I have a lot to talk about the Mario movie specifically, but I'm going to lay out it here first. Sonic absolutely clobbers Mario in any other media form. TV shows, movies, it's
kind of goated.
Significantly better, especially TV shows. The Mario movie, like, it's fine. The Sonic movies are better, but the Sonic TV shows are incredible. If you've seen Sonic Boom,
good.
Sonic Rush is a new one, or like any of the old Sonic shows that I used to watch like growing up on like cable TV. Oh, beautiful.
They're so
if you know,
good.
you know. But yeah, we'll get into that. I think we'll start because, you know, we'll say this from the get-go. Neither of us have played every single Mario and Sonic game. Neither of us have watched Sonic 2 and 3, the movies. We've only just seen the first Sonic movie and the Mario movie, which I think a 1-to-1 comparison for the first movies is probably more fair, at least anyways.
Yeah.
So we're not the end-all be-all fucking gods deciding which one is better, but we you should listen to us anyways.
We're gonna debate, and here's the deal: you're gonna be like, well, we're gonna make a comment. We're like, these games don't normally do this, and you're gonna be like, actually, Sonic 3.5 from 1993 did this. Shut up. We don't know everything.
Yeah, we know. Some things.
We know enough. We know some things.
We know enough that someone that hasn't played these games, we can convince them to maybe play one or the other.
And again, this is an objectively good podcast. Get out of here. We don't do that.
My nose is really itchy. Just wanted to point that out.
Perfect.
If I'm rubbing my nose the whole entire episode and putting my entire fist up through one nostril, you know why.
It's because of the Coke.
That too.
It's just I like the idea that mid podcast, purely for the YouTube watchers, but also kind of for the audio listeners, you just lean down and just take just the loudest whiff you can.
Did you even hear that?
I didn't hear it, but I might have picked up on your mic anyways.
I don't know. My mic is good cutting out, so maybe it didn't pick up.
Yeah,
for those of you listening with audio, I just snorted massive amounts of drug. Thank you for listening. Please supply us with more.
World record for the longest line. So
I do wonder, what is the longest line ever done?
I don't know. It probably wasn't recorded because it was super illegal. Anyways, Mario vs. Sonic. I think we just kind of start off with almost our credentials, really.
Yeah,
We're going to talk about kind of what we've prepared for this episode, and then subsequently what we've just played in the past. Because we're kind of coming to this, I'm the Mario, he's the Sonic in the argument. Yeah. I don't think we're necessarily going to be like, beating each other up. I like both.
I think more so, instead of beating each other up, we're going to be that gif of Sonic and Mario like furiously making out. I feel like that's more so the intent of
I
this
like
podcast.
that.
Yeah, I think that's real good.
Yeah, I think that's good. I thought you were gonna go with the like Carl Weathers, Arnold Schwarzenegger, like kind of arm, like clasp, I guess. Or the,
Yeah,
like
no,
the,
I think the make out gif is more accurate.
No, I like that. That works.
Or, you
that works
know,
well.
Pregnant Sonic's pretty popular. It's popping off still to this day.
That
somehow.
is true.
The
That
amount
is
of
true.
Pregnant Sonic artworks, whatever you want to call them, is truly concerning. I don't know who's. Oh no, I actually think I do know who started it. I'm pretty sure it's Chris Chan. If you know who that is.
Vaguely.
I only know because my friends
Sounds
put me
familiar.
through that torture. I won't get into it because it is horrendous. Moving back,
Yeah.
so
Moving back.
what-
Dan, what did you prepare for this? And then also, what have you played in the past?
yeah, so to prepare for this episode, I played a little bit of Mario Wonder on the Nintendo Switch, not the Switch 2, and I don't have the privilege of having that. I played through like the first like main like stage and like
Like the
did all
first
the
world,
levels. Well, it's
kind
first
of.
world, I guess. Yeah, the world, I guess, is a better term. Like beat the first boss and all that stuff. Didn't play much more, mainly just because it didn't really entice me massively, and I'll obviously get into reasons why
Okay.
afterwards. I also watched the Mario movie, which I hadn't seen before. That was great, and I've mentioned it on the podcast
Yeah.
before. A few things about it, but I'll get into it more.
Yeah.
And then I started to play a little bit of Sonic Colors on the Switch because it was on discount, and
Nice.
again didn't play much of it, and I'll get into reasons why. Not because I thought it was a bad game, but because of something else. That's what I've prepared for. In terms of stuff I've just played in the past or seen in the past, seen Sonic, the original movie. I've watched Sonic Boom. I've watched a lot of the, like, a few of the Sonic original TV shows, like, back in, like, the early 2000s. Just, like, an episode here or there, so I don't remember plot lines, but I remember the general vibe of the shows. I've played quite a few Sonic games when I was younger. A lot of the ones on the Wii, like Sonic Unleashed,
Nice.
Sonic the Dark Knight, I think it is, or, like, something with a
Okay.
sword. Edgy Sonic.
Would you say you've mostly watched or played the like kind of 3D Sonic games,
I think I've played more
or the ones
3D
that are do 3D and 2D?
Yeah, I've
'Cause
definitely
some of the games do both.
play more 3D. I think I was telling you earlier, my favorite Sonic game of all time. I need to find it again because I keep
It's-
forgetting the name of it.
It's so good he doesn't remember it.
Yeah, I mean, it was on the DS. It was a long time ago. It feels like there's something stabbing me in my throat. It's hurting to talk. I don't know what's happening. Don't worry, I'm fine.
That's fine.
I'm so fine. What game
That's
is it?
alright.
It was definitely it's very
Oh,
similar.
yeah.
Like Sonic Colors is the game that I played on Switch. My favorite Sonic game is very similar in style to that. That's what I know.
Is it all right? Is it Rush Adventures?
We're not going
The Rush
to list
Adventure.
every single one of them, are we?
I looked up DS Sonic games.
Oh, fair enough.
I got Sonic Rush, Sonic Colors, Sonic Classic Collection, Generations. That was 3DS.
Yes, Generations, I think.
Okay. Oh yeah, I've heard good things.
It's the one with or no, it's not Generations, never mind. It's the one where you
Oh.
can play as like Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails like all at once. And you're like and you rotate
Ah.
between them while playing. I don't know if it's a well-rated Sonic game, but I enjoyed it. I've also played like
Sure.
there was a game on my I want to say PS2 where it's like a Sonic game where you go in and it has like 30 different games in there. And like there was Sonic Boxing where you could fight against like other characters and like the final villain was like Mecha Sonic you fought against. I've played like some of the original Sonic racing games.
Okay.
Like I said, played the Wii ones. I played a bit of Sonic Unleashed, the one that's on PS5, like the big open 3D
Okay,
world one. I played
yeah.
a bit of that. So I've played like enough to get the grasp of the game, you know.
Yeah.
And then with Mario, I played
Not
Super Mario
much Mario.
64 when I was younger,
Okay.
and I've played like the original one.
Wait, on the DS?
Yeah, on DS.
Because that is different.
I've played the
I'll tell
DS
you. I'll
one,
tell you about that. Okay. Yeah. Nice.
and then I've obviously
Like
played
slightly
Mario Kart. That's pretty standard.
Sure.
I've played. I mean, Smash Bros. Is a Mario. I've played Smash Bros. Like once, twice. I've played some Mario Party here and there, and I've played like I
Nice.
think I've played the original Super Mario like on a Flash game, like on my PC. So like
Sure.
I get the gist of things, and then obviously I played the
Yeah.
recent one. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
it for me basically. Probably could have played. I've played Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, which is probably the best comparison game because it has both of them.
Because it has both of them.
Yep.
And at the same time is not a standard Mario or a standard Sonic game.
No, but it is pretty
That's
fun.
even better. Yeah, so preparing for this, I actually played a lot
You
more
talk.
Mario.
I'm gonna try and find the game that I like because I can't.
Yeah, you go
find it.
figure out this game that you love but don't know the name of.
Sorry.
I watched the Sonic movie, I watched the Mario movie. I played Sonic Mania and Sonic Forces because I had both of them because at some point in time I got them for free off PlayStation Plus, and also somehow I had the 2 Sonic games that came out in 2017. Kind of wild to get 2 Sonic games in 1 year.
Yeah.
Sonic Mania was like fully 2D, felt like a classic Sonic game. And then Sonic Forces, did you find it, Dan?
No, I found a different one that I completely forgot about, and I actually did love as well.
Nice. Sonic Forces is like your more like modern Sonic with like, it goes in between 2D and 3D, but it's more 3D. It also like, it has a pretty involved story, and there's a lot of plot, and there's cutscenes where like Sonic Mania basically doesn't have cutscenes. It's also like 8-bit kind of style. I played those to prep because I'd played a bunch of Mario, but also I ended up playing Mario anyways because I have been playing on my DS a lot recently, and so I played New Super Mario Bros. On the DS, which is kind of just like a classic side scroller. I played Mario 64, which I have a lot of comments on. And then like,
I didn't know it was different. What console was it different onto DS? Super Mario 64.
So I want to say it's the
Game Boy,
but I actually don't
NES.
remember. I don't remember what it came on. It came off first because it's before my time. Let's look it
We're
up.
youngins. Also, I did find the game that I really love, so I can actually mention it now. My favorite Sonic game, again, don't know if it's reviewed well, but is Sonic Heroes. Yeah, it's a game where you can switch between like Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. And obviously, Sonic, if you don't know, Sonic's the fast one, Knuckles is the strong one, and Tails can fly. So, but depending on situations, you switch between the 3 of them to like overcome obstacles. I love it. The game I found that I forgot existed, and I'm now getting crazy nostalgia, is called Sonic Rush Adventure.
I called that out at one point.
Yeah, it's a game
but you
where
probably
like,
had to see it yourself.
It's like 2D and 3D, and you can like go between islands on like a ship basically, and like do stages, and it's really fun. And another game which is kind of like the Sonic Mario Kart equivalent from back in the day, is called Sonic Riders. Well, not Mario Kart, I guess, but like it's a game where you like use
like
hoverboards,
game.
And it's really fun. I really enjoy Riders. I thought it was great. Yeah.
Mario 64 was on the N64. Yes. I don't know why I didn't think that.
That makes sense.
Just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
The DS version is kind of a report. In the regular version, you just play as Mario. If you remember the DS version, you start as Yoshi, pretty quickly unlock Mario.
Oh, really?
And you get to play as Luigi, and you get to play as Wario, and you can just change in between them.
Oh, I don't remember that.
They're like slightly different. I think they probably, they change it so that, it fits the DS.
Yeah, of course.
And maybe they do a little bit of updating to make some things easier, because I love Mario 64, but the goddamn camera angles on that kills me, because it's before Nintendo figured out you could just do 2 Joy-Cons because they, do sticks.
Yep.
And you could just do that. And the DS just didn't have that. So it's like, in order to do it, you have to click one button and flick. It was stupid. It was terrible. I've played that. I mean, I haven't really played any Sonic games up until like recording for this. Outside of, Smash and Mario and Sonic Olympic games, but again, I don't really count those. I was just aware of all of them. But I mean, I've played Mario Galaxy, Odyssey. God, if it was on the Wii until now, I've probably played it, or I've played quite a bit. Mario Kart, I've played a bunch. Smash. Oh God, I mean, I've played multiple variations of Mario Kart. Like when it pops up and it's like Mario Kart 8, in my brain, I'm always going Mario Kart Wii, because it's just like locked in there.
For me, it's DS. That's where I played it the most.
That's fair. I never actually had it on the DS. I just had it on the Wii, which kind of same difference.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, basically, he has a lot of experience with Mario. I have a lot of experience with Sonic,
yeah,
and we're gonna fight and then make out.
and we're gonna duke it to the death.
Mhm. So I think good place to start. I think cumin powder. Cumulatively,
Human powder.
we have more knowledge about Mario. I think you've played more Mario games than I have Sonic, and I've played
Mm,
more Mario games than you have Sonic.
yeah.
If that made sense. So, and I've also played it more recently than most Sonic games. So I think it's more fresh in my mind. We'll start with that. So,
Yeah.
Super Mario, the Bros, Big M, and Massive L.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's up with these games?
I mean, to start off with, I'm not going to go
Tell me
through the
about 'em.
history, but
Yeah, give
For
me
the
a
most
3-hour
part, they-
breakdown, please.
oh god, okay. So Mario started probably in like Jumpman or like Donkey Kong. It's like one
Donkey
of those
Kong,
two.
I think.
I think he was in Donkey Kong. He was called Jumpman
Hell yeah.
until he became Mario, and then there's subsequent games. Mario is kind of like a 2D platformer for like probably like 20 years, maybe like 15
Mhm.
before they started making 3D games. Because, you know, back then, I think like the original Mario game, the actual size of the original Mario game is smaller than if you had a JPEG of just a picture of the original Mario game.
That's
nowadays.
awesome.
Yeah, it's tiny because that's what gaming was back then.
Mhm.
You know, it's like 8-bit, and there's not a whole lot going on. There's not a whole lot of frames per second or anything like. But it's mostly 2D platformer. It's tends to be relatively flat. Like you're not going up and down a lot. You are like a little bit, but a lot of times you stay kind of relatively within your square.
Yeah, at least on the older games, like with Mario Wonder, which is the one I played.
Yeah.
Right? I keep getting the names.
It's
With Mario
Mario
Wonder, there's a lot more like directional change. Like you can go into the background, you can go into the foreground, you can go up, down.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more development, which you'd fucking hope there to be after that many years. If they didn't change it up, it'd be
course.
really boring. So that's nice to see. But in general, like bar the 3D games, which are like a different beast, I guess we can talk about.
Mhm.
The structure of Mario is like very similar and unchanged for
Left
the
to
most part.
right,
Left to right.
occasionally bottom, like down to up.
You jump on enemies
on the
to kill them
occasional
or get a
level.
power up and like use the power up on them.
Yeah.
It's a very simple platformer. So I will say, when I played Mario Wonder, there were some levels that were a lot more difficult than I was expecting. However, I think the reason for this isn't necessarily the game itself, and I think the reason is the Switch. Because
Yeah.
so I didn't think this like the delay or lag or anything was a problem when I was playing Mario. But like I said, I played a bit of Sonic Colors afterwards, and I was struggling because the way I was playing my Switch was I was playing with the Switch like Joy-Con controller you can buy, like a PlayStation controller,
Yeah.
hooked up to my TV, and I was noticing that like I was like failing jumps continuously. So I decided to unplug and go handheld mode, and I was like, oh, there was so much delay using the control on the TV. And now thinking back to playing Mario, there was a lot of times where I was mistiming jumps and like fucking up things. That was probably because of that.
Now, was that controller specific, or is that the Switch?
It was the official Switch controller. I don't think the control itself was the issue. I think it's a delay of the Switch being hooked up to a TV. I think and with the control as well, I think is a problem. I imagine the Switch 2 was less delay. Also, like hooking up, it's like when you hook up a PlayStation to a TV compared to a monitor, the refresh rate and like the everything is like slower.
Sure. But in Mario, it should never be like enough of an issue.
No, Mario definitely was much less of an issue than Sonic, but I do think there were probably situations where like a few frames probably would have like stopped me from falling off or doing something stupid.
But yeah, so Mario, mostly 2D platformers, pretty simplistic, but pretty like easy to get. And I think that's where like the comparison will start to be made, is like it's very playable by everyone, and it's very like I think enjoyable to everyone, because it can start off at a pretty base level where it's not that hard, but it can get difficult. And like some of those older games are really hard, especially when it's the more arcade style where you have 3 lives. When you lose them, you're done. You restart from the beginning because it was made for an arcade.
Yep.
Whereas like nowadays you play a Mario game and like you lose your lives, they just go, wah, and then they give you 5 more.
Yeah, I think by like the 7th level, I had like 15 lives or some shit.
Yeah, so because they're just not, I mean arcades, we're not making arcade games anymore.
No.
And people, I think because gaming has gotten so much, it's expanded so much, no one really wants to struggle, but like you want to make it so that everyone can play it. And
Yep.
what you find in more modern Mario 2D games is I think they're a little bit easy. They're definitely easier than the originals, but they will often give you optional hard levels,
Well, I think
which can sometimes be even harder than some of the original stuff.
from what I've
Or, like,
heard at
older
least,
stuff.
I think this is a reason why so many people love Super Mario Maker 2, because you can have custom levels that are really, really
Yes.
difficult for like the more experienced players who want a challenge,
Yeah,
which is nice.
and
I think.
having a Played Wonder, there are optional levels in there that like I had to sweat to get through.
Yeah, there were some levels I gave up on because they were like genuinely quite difficult. Like
Yeah.
even early on, there were some quite tough, like optional side levels with some annoying monsters that have like mechanics that are just a nightmare to deal with.
They're
So,
just
like,
weird.
I do think when I was talking about Mario earlier, I was like, I don't really like it because it's like too easy. I will say it did give me a challenge at times. So like my opinion on that
definitely
has
can.
changed. I think the reason why specifically this game, Mario Wonder, didn't really entice me all that much is it just is like very simplistic and not in a way that like draws me. Like, I think when I
Sure.
play a game, I don't think a story is like the most important thing in the world, but I do like to have it though. I think
And
it helps drag, like if
Yeah.
Super Mario Wonder had like a very interesting story, I think it would make me want to continue more because I'd be interested to see where it's going. But unfortunately, and Sonic does run into this issue a little bit as well, but it's a tad different. But Mario runs into this issue where every single game, Bowser did some bad stuff. You gotta go get to Bowser and kill him.
yeah,
And it's kind of the same
Yeah.
thing over and over and over again. Like with Sonic, we can get into it. It is like, oh no, Eggman did a bad thing. But I feel like his plots and ideas and like the ways you go about it are, like, at least narrative wise, are quite different every time. Like in the game I played, Sonic
it's a
Colors.
little more complex.
Like in Sonic Colors, Eggman builds a space amusement park linked to 4 different planets to entice Sonic in to try and like defeat him. That's like an interesting plot. Bowser's always like, oh, I'm gonna steal this princess or this powerful thing, and you have to come fight me.
Almost every single time. And like they give you a cutscene at the beginning, maybe a tiny cutscene in between worlds, but like you
Yes.
basically get nothing out of the 2D games.
Yes.
The 3D games, you start to get more out of them. You get more story. So like Mario 64, it's kind of the same thing where you're trying to save the princess, but I mean, God, they're probably all still kind of around the lines of you're trying to save the princess, but there's more to it. Like you go through the entire castle, you're going through paintings, you're like talking with people. Now I say talking, you're reading text bubbles because Mario barely does actual like spoken word.
Here's the thing. This is not a pet peeve or anything. This is just something that was just really, like, it just felt so out of place. So you play Mario Wonder, right?
Yeah.
So in Mario Wonder, you're saving the Flower Kingdom from like Bowser.
Yeah.
And like Mario
Mushroom
doesn't.
Kingdom.
No, I think it's Flower in this one.
It might be Flower in that one.
It's the flower
because
people
the
you're
first
saving.
world might be Flower.
First one,
I
at
don't
least, yeah.
remember.
So you're saving, you know, these people. Mario obviously doesn't speak. You have text bubbles, and the flower people don't speak. They have text bubbles. But for some fucking reason, there's like these sunflowers on the ground that will just speak English, like in such a weird accent as well. It just feels so out of place. And
they're usually the ones giving you like hints.
Yeah.
Right? Or kind of talking to you about like the level.
It's
you
just
pass
so
them.
strange.
It's
so
very
odd.
strange. It's what I liked about Mario Wonder is honestly like I think it was a really good 2D Mario game because it was quite unique. The music and like the sounds and everything, the sound design was really cool in the game. As you go through it, like it feels like a very polished game. But I think for 2D, the main thing is like Mario games are pretty casual. You can get to
Yes.
points where you sweat, but it's pretty casual.
Mhm.
And that speaks to a lot of people, because a lot of
Mhm.
people like to come home, they've been working all day and they just kind of want to sit back and play a game. Or you're a kid and most kids don't want to like struggle. Like, not that they don't want to struggle, but they don't want to like be constantly dying and just losing a game. And like,
It's also just
they want to be able to play the game.
it's also just understandably slower. Sonic's a fast boy. He goes fast.
Yeah.
Mario's a much
Yeah.
slower game, which means if you have slower reaction times or you're like tired or something, or you just want a more like casual experience, it's better for that. Not to say that Sonic is like this extreme difficult game, but it is a lot
Yeah.
faster. And if you're not paying
lot
attention,
faster
you
and
can
it's-
fuck up way easier because, even just playing
Mhm.
Sonic Colors, which I was on the Switch, like there are multiple times where like I'm getting stopped because I'm forgetting to dive or jump because things are coming at me very fast.
Yeah.
Now, personally, I do like the speed of Sonic. I think that's why I liked it when I was a kid, because I was a little ADHD loser or something, and I just wanted like fast stuff happening. And
Yeah.
I feel like Mario at times does feel very sluggish.
It can, for sure. And
Just-
you can go at your own pace too. And it's
Yeah.
rare. You're typically rewarded for slowing down more than for speeding up.
Yes.
I
will
think
say-
I kind of like
It took me like
Oh, yeah.
3 or 4 levels to figure out you could sprint, which didn't help.
that's really funny. Yeah,
Oh,
that doesn't help.
That's another pet peeve of mine, and this is not a Mario Sonic thing, this is a gaming thing in general. I just hate the fact that every fucking game has like different buttons for different actions. Like, why is sprint like
yeah.
the Y,
It's
which is the
Y.
left
Yeah.
one on the Switch? Because even consoles have different names for different buttons. I just wish they were
Yeah.
all like synced, because I'm trying to like
Similar.
jump on Mario and pressing the wrong button. I'm trying to sprint and using the wrong button, and it just messes me up in the head. It's not fun.
I was playing 64 on the DS. B is jump, Y is sprint, standard Mario stuff. A is like punch. And
Yeah.
I was playing this level where it's like the first level, or it's the first world. It's where with all the bomb bombs and there's
Yes.
the top of the hill.
Yeah.
And you have to go behind them, grab them, spin them around and chuck them. And I was trying to figure out what to do, and I was like, I feel like I'm pressing all the buttons, and I just wasn't pressing A, because in my eyes, in a Mario game, A and B are both jump.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because that's typically the case, because a lot of 2D platforming Mario games are like jump, sprint, and then like power, and then like ground pound. Like there's not a whole lot going on.
Yeah.
Well,
Wonder has a mechanic with the buttons I really didn't like, where B is jump, pressing Y, which on PlayStation would be square if you want a comparison.
yeah.
If you press it, if you're like in an elephant form or a different form, you use like a special attack. But if you hold it down, you sprint. But it comes with this weird issue where like
No, that's
you're-
that's normal Mario.
if you're in
games.
the elephant form, if you hold down Y, you attack first, then you sprint. And it's like it just
because
feels weird.
the elephant form has like it's like, oh, you can spray water and it's a hold down. I did remember finding that kind of annoying.
It just feels like having 2 buttons for the same action you use a lot. Like, because I'm pretty sure, like, I don't think, is it X on the Switch that's the top one? Does it even have a use in the game? I can't even remember what it does. I feel like you could use that for something.
I feel I feel like I
Or like-
never used
or
it.
like
It
have
it's
sprint as
probably
one
the
of
same
the-
function as Y and X.
Yeah, or have sprint as one of like the bumpers or something.
Yeah.
Like, I would
I
have
don't know,
preferred
it's
that
weird.
massively.
But yeah, I was struggling on that 3D Mario game.
Oh, how about this?
I think
Sorry,
kind of
quick rant.
Oh, yeah.
How about every single game out there just gives you the option to remap your buttons? How about we just do that, huh?
true.
That'd be great. That'd be awesome.
How dare you ask Nintendo do things for their fans? Get out of
Yeah.
here.
Sorry,
That's
I shouldn't
bullshit.
have done it. My bad.
Yeah, it's bad. I think I have at least one more point, if not two. One of which is that what's fun about the Mario games is honestly, from at least 2D wise, from game to game, mechanics are pretty similar.
Yep.
Not a whole lot, but they tend to at least give you a new mechanic every time, or at least a new power up,
hmm
which is always fun. I think Mario Wonder gives you multiple. Mario Wonder gives you the cool like Wonder Stars,
Yeah.
and like the game shifts a little bit. Like you tend to turn into a new thing.
hmm
which is really fun. And that's why if you finished Mario Wonder, you would see like every world has kind of its own thing. So there's some pretty cool stuff that happens in that game that I really appreciated over like a Wii like it's like Super Mario like Wii U Deluxe is just kind of another Mario game, or like New Super Mario Bros is kind of just another like standard Mario. Like you get the fire. God, I don't even think you get ice. I think you just get fireball on that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, you get fireball, you get the giant mushroom, and then you get the really small mushroom. And you get the blue shell. I forgot about the blue shell.
Oh, interesting. So yeah, this is the thing
Blue
I was
shell
mentioning to you before the pod. I think if I had more time before this episode, which I probably did have time, but I was being lazy, I would have probably liked to download and play Mario Odyssey, because I've watched a lot of the gameplay, because there's a lot of YouTubers like speedrun it and stuff. And I think out of all the Mario games, that looks like the type of game I think I'd enjoy the most. I think I definitely prefer the 3D over 2D. I just like having more options to be able to run around and do stuff, just personal preference. Like the different power-ups and options you can get, like systems for like buying different like hats and items and all the different worlds. It just feels a lot more interesting to me, because I think maybe the reason why Mario's never really enticed me that much is that, like you said, bar like the 3D games and like Wonder recently, a lot of the Mario games are just sort of the same thing with like one new thing added. And like that's not, unless you're a really big Mario fan and you played it since you were young and it's like one of your favorite things to play, it's not that enticing to go like, oh, buy a new $80 game for one new power up, enjoy.
And it's almost a DLC at that point. It's just more levels.
Yeah, and I'm sure Sonic is probably the same with a lot of games as well. I'm not saying it's just a Mario problem. It's a problem in gaming a lot of time as well. It's the same issue that like FIFA and Call of Duty have, where like games are quite similar every year. Doesn't feel like you need to buy the new one because there's not much difference, but you have to buy the new one because the old one stops getting fucking updates and stuff. It's
a lot of rinse and repeat. And it's like, if you want new levels, you gotta buy the new game. But sometimes you buy a game and you're like, I completed this in 10 hours and that was $60. And I don't know if I'll replay it. I really liked Mario Odyssey. Honestly, I do need to replay it. But I remember liking it a lot, and then I finished it probably within like 15 or 20 hours. And I was like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah, well, this comes back to my point about the fact that Mario games don't really have much of a story. I think ruins, like, I think you can have a really short game, but if there's a really good story, it can stick with you, and I think it's fine.
I agree.
I think if Mario games had a more interesting story, I think it could make up for the fact they're short and has a relatively repetitive gameplay loop, because you're trying to build towards that story more. But it is, like, I think the base Mario story of, oh, evil man captures Princess Saphir, that's a fine plot. You've done it for 25 years or whatever. Gets a bit stale.
It's not new. It's the same every time.
And I know there are some games that have
I do agree with
differences. I don't think it's Bowser in every game. Maybe it is. I don't know.
It's Bowser in a lot of games, though.
Yeah.
Or it's Bowser and new bosses. It's also boss fights. Again, I bar the 3D games, because the 3D games get a lot more unique, and that's why that is honestly something to give Mario. You get the same with Sonic, but the 3D games are quite fun and vary a lot more. Like Mario 64 to Mario Sunshine is quite different. You get this whole like water mechanic in Sunshine, and then you go to Galaxy, you get this whole space mechanic. Galaxy's great. I loved Galaxy. I played that a lot when I was younger. I even bought the Switch, Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and then Galaxy, like pack. And I play the shit out of Galaxy again, because it's such a fun game. But like, yeah, you get the 2Ds, and it's fun. It's good casual gaming. But once they start getting up there, I'm like, this isn't worth $80 to me. This is worth like $30. And I will say, like, they look really polished. They're well done. A lot of kinks are like, they're all out. You know, it's not buggy. It looks like it cost money, you know? But if you're not going to give me that much, you know, like time or story of like playing, like, I don't know if they come out with a new 2D Mario game, unless it's really good, I don't know if I want to spend $80 on it. I want to get it on sale. which Nintendo never does.
Mhm. And on top of that, another thing that hinders the Mario games, not gameplay wise, is the awful company that is Nintendo, and the fact that Mario games are completely exclusive to Switch and pretty much price locked forever. Like, you rarely ever see a Mario game go below, like, in Australian dollars 80. I'm showing for you like 60. And like, so now if you want to play a new Mario game and say you don't have a Switch or the Switch 2, not only do you have to buy the game, but the console as well. Whereas Sonic, you don't run into that issue nearly as much because it's on many more platforms.
Sonic will come out on PlayStation. It'll come out on Steam.
And Switch and Steam. Yeah, so that's better. Sonic definitely has more accessibility than Mario does. And I think we mentioned this before. The Pokemon has the exact same issue, and it's why I think Pokemon is also sort of a dying franchise. Well, not dying, but like the games aren't as good as they are. They're made easy for kids, similar for Mario. Is that because of the exclusivity of them being on Switch, and because of like Nintendo know they can get away with not putting in much effort to the games because people will still buy them because the Nintendo fanboys love their Nintendo games on the Switch, which is fine. But like, I think it gives you the issue of like Nintendo, like I said, they can get away with putting out just like okay games now. They don't really have to innovate much. It doesn't happen much. I think the last big innovation Nintendo did was like Pokemon Legends Arceus, and like that was fine. But like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm sure on the Switch 2 it's better. Whenever I think it's ported there already, and the new Legends game is coming out on Switch soon, Switch 2 soon. But like on the original Switch, Legends Arceus, I found difficult to play, man.
Well, I think Scarlet and Violet was also kind of difficult to play.
Yeah, it was
like,
really
it was
bad.
Buggy, and it's like, you've made this for one console. How is this buggy?
Yeah, it was,
like, I'd
was
understand. Rough. Like, there are games that come out and they're like, you know, they're super optimized. They're like, they work really well if you have a really good PC, but if you play on PlayStation, it doesn't work that well. But it's like, you just made this for the Switch, and it's a goddamn Pokemon game.
Yeah.
It's not that complicated. It's the same thing with Mario. Like, it's not that complicated in its gameplay. If you break it down, it is a square block, or is a dot moving up and down and side to side, and you have a couple other things also moving up and down and side to side. Maybe they're moving in a circle. Like, it's 2D. This should not be difficult.
And the final point I want to make on Mario games, specifically the 2D ones, just to show that we're not just like shitting out for no reason, in case you want to comment like, it's a platform and there's not much you can do with it. Let's take a look at, not Undertale, what the fuck is, let's take a look at Hollow Knight, let's take a look at Celeste, Super Meat Boy, fucking Geometry Dash, even with like the complexity of it. There's like platformer 2D side-scroller games that can be so interesting, both gameplay and story-wise, and it's been shown, because I've played a bit of Hollow Knight, haven't played Celeste, but like those games are so highly reviewed, so loved, both in terms of story, and like Hollow Knight doesn't have English speaking, it has text dialogue. It's completely black and white, the whole game, apart from a few colors here and there. Like visually, it's like less colorful and complicated. It's definitely
there's way less money spent on it because it's an indie game.
Exactly, but I think it's probably a much better game. Now, yes, it is harder. You don't necessarily have to include the difficulty to make the game interesting, but it just goes to show you can make 2D platformer games extremely good. And I think, like I said, I think there's just a sense of stagnancy and like complacency with Mario, probably with Sonic as well, to be fair.
It's kind of a classic Nintendo thing where it's like, they have an existing IP, enough people are gonna consistently buy it because it's using a known IP. I mean, it'll kind of relate back to the Mario movie talk, but like, look, you release a Mario game, it's gonna do well. Now, if it's really good, it'll do even better. Like Wonder did really well, but I'm sure you're kind of like Joe Schmo Mario game also did pretty well, and they can make another one.
Yep. Speaking of another game, Sonic. Let's talk about that. So
let's talk about it. I think you start. You have the Sonic experience.
Yeah. So from my knowledge, the rough history of Sonic was in like the 90s. Sega was like, this Mario guy is doing pretty well. We want to come up with a competitor. So they came up with Sonic, which like originally, I'm taking this information from a Polygon video by Brian David Gilbert where he talked about the religion of Sonic. But like, I think the original idea was that Sonic was like this sort of punk rocking blue guy with a girlfriend, and then eventually it got like Americanized to like a fast dude with like red shoes and no girlfriend. But he doesn't kiss a girl in one game, so that's something.
Nice.
But Sonic, yeah, sort of like the antithesis to Mario. Mario was like a slow guy that used abilities and like jumped up and he was like sort of stronger. Sonic is fast. He gets to his levels by running at people, turning into a ball, going at supersonic speeds. Shockingly, that's his name. And it starts off in a very similar way as Mario, with like 2D platformers, levels that, you know, are pretty simplistic, but definitely at the start more difficult just due to the factor of speed. Like you have to have faster reaction times. I think the life system is very different, whereas Mario gets like 1 life from like a mushroom. Sonic gets lives from the coins he picks up, and if he hits an enemy, he loses a certain amount of coins, and you have to just keep track of that. But like the gameplay loop early on is very similar. You beat the stage, you go to the next one, you beat the next stage. Very simple. I don't know when exactly Sonic started branching out to different types of games, but I know by the mid-2000s there was 3D games, like some of my favorites, like Sonic Heroes, where you switch between Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails. Obviously, the main villain is Eggman, pretty much the entire time, but you do have other villains that show up in different games. Metal Sonic is a big one. Black Doom, I think, is basically like a demon that shows up in like the Shadow game. There's
Shadow is sometimes a villain, but I think at this rate is basically a hero.
Yeah, he's like kind of like an anti-hero type game.
Yeah.
You have like Sonic Riders, where I don't know if he's necessarily the villain, but you have like the green guy. I can't remember what his name is. Is his name Bean? No, his name's someone. Bean's the fighting game that I played at. But yeah, there's more villains for sure, and like Eggman's plots vary a lot more. It's not just like for the most part, it is him trying to steal the Chaos Emeralds, which is kind of like the equivalent to like the stars in Mario, I guess. Like if you like powers, it is that. But the way he goes about getting them in every game is like usually quite unique, like very different. Like some games, he creates Metal Sonic, he creates Shadow in one game. He tries to blow up the moon, or he does blow up the moon. He destroys islands. He like creates space theme parks. There's just more going on. And in general, I think at least after the first few games where there's not much story, Sonic games typically have a lot more dialogue, a lot more cutscenes, and more of an actual narrative going on compared to Mario. So there's a bit more to like get invested in, I guess. And just in general, Sonic has more characters that are like known and have like personalities. Because like taking away the movies and like some of the games with the like I guess the 3D ones have a bit more going on. Mario is kind of just like a blank canvas. Luigi's just a guy that gets scared a lot.
Yeah.
Wario
They
and
don't
Waluigi
talk.
are literally just evil versions of them.
There are barely any, there's not a lot of talking, and there are a ton of Mario characters, and you get it more in like some of the 3D and like Super Mario Sluggers. Like you kind of get into some of the weirder like offshoot games, but in the main 2D games, you don't necessarily. Almost none of them talk is the thing. Whereas like in Sonic, they all have personality. That was the fun thing for me playing Sonic Forces. Is like Sonic Forces also starts off with you start as Sonic and you lose to Eggman. You think Sonic dies like first level, and he comes back and he's been in this prison for like 8 months or something like that, and he's still cracking wise. Like he's still just like being a sarcastic little shit, and like Eggman has taken over like the entire world, and there's like a resistance force, and there's all this stuff, and he's just still like, haha, I'm still gonna get you, Eggman, you're too slow. And it's like he almost died.
Yeah, so like this is going more into like the TV show movie territory now. So I don't know if Mario's movie personality is representative of like sort of how he's portrayed in games, because I haven't played the story once much. No.
But
like
I wouldn't say so.
And this is a personal opinion, obviously this is an objective fact, but I really love the sort of cockiness of Sonic, of like,
it's fun.
Noah can kill me, I'm faster than you. Like it's very fun, and I think it leads into like a great dynamic between like him and Tails, where Tails is kind of like unsure, kind of scared, but also a bit like very intelligent, like brilliant, and like tries to calm Sonic down. And then Knuckles is just a knucklehead, a bit of a fucking dumbass that's just strong. And those personalities get really reinforced by the shows and movies, which obviously leads to Sonic. It helps Sonic a lot in terms of like understanding the personalities and characters of the game. Because if you go watch the Sonic TV shows and movie and then come back to the game, you can. It feels like you know the characters more. Whereas I feel like if you watch the Mario movie and then play the game, it doesn't really have an impact on it. You might be
more confused because it comes back to why why people are kind of like, yeah, I don't really need a Legend of Zelda game. Link doesn't talk.
Yeah.
The rest of the characters do. Link never talks. And it's like, you gonna make Link talk now?
Yeah, you mean the movie. You don't want a Legend of Zelda movie.
Yeah, I don't want a Legend of Zelda movie. Or TV. I think there has been a TV show. I can't speak on that, but
yeah.
I don't need a movie. It's also, I have a feeling Nintendo would do the same thing where we'll continue on with Sonic, but Mario doesn't have much of a personality in the games because he doesn't talk a whole lot. And you get a little bit, but he's the hero. He's going to go save. He's Italian.
Yeah.
Whereas Sonic, there's a lot of personality, and you get that in the games and also in TV shows and movies. It's also that Mario just doesn't have a whole lot of media.
Yeah.
But for Sonic games, what I found interesting was when I first started playing, I started with Sonic Mania, which was the 2D game. It felt, honestly, you could have told me it was made in 2000, just because it had that style of it didn't have the 3D style. But I thought it was really cool. Music, really cool. The level design is really fun. The look of it is really fun. The gameplay, I just had a slightly hard time getting into because you'd go fast, and that was great, and that was fun. Then all of a sudden, it's actually, you kind of need to stop and go to a standstill and then jump in this weird way. And sometimes
it is a bit awkward.
That would just throw me off.
Agree.
It could be awkward at times.
Especially,
I think was the thing.
Especially if you're on a console where so this was the issue I was having with playing Sonic Colors on the Switch. The amount you move with the joystick, it's you move a lot. So it's really difficult to have control over where you're going sometimes. And you can't change the sensitivity on the sticks on Switch, so that makes it more difficult. So yeah, sometimes it can be very difficult, and obviously it's a skill thing. If you're really good at a Sonic game, you can play at full speed and fucking destroy it and crush it. Yeah. But it does there's a lot more of a learning curve compared to a Mario game where the skill ceiling of Mario is not super high because there's only a certain speed you can get to, there's only certain abilities you can use. Whereas Sonic, you can go very fast. Some games, I think very fast. I think it's Sonic Frontiers, the PS5 open world game. You can get some ridiculous speed and do some crazy things, but you have to get good at the game and know how to use your abilities well. Other thing I want to say about Sonic games, and I may be wrong about this because I don't know as much about Mario, is I feel like there's a lot more variety in Sonic games in terms of the actual gameplay itself. Like I said, obviously Sonic and Mario both have a racing game. That's standard. They both are in Olympic games. They're both in Smash. That's they cancel each other out. They both have 2D games, both have 3D games. Then Sonic, like I said, has those team games where you rotate between a cast of characters mid-mission to solve different problems. Sonic has a boxing game that I played growing up. That was really fun. The open world game of Sonic Frontiers, I think, is a lot more open world. It's a different style of open world game to Mario Odyssey, which is Mario Odyssey is still very...
It's still kind of level based.
Yeah, it's still stage-like, if it's just more free roam.
Yeah.
I just think that... And I think this is something that Sega probably had to do. Because Mario came out first and already had established fan base, I think Sonic and Sega had to take more risks with games to try and one-up them.
Yeah.
Sonic Unleashed and Sonic the Dark Knight, the two Wii games, are very different in terms of style, tone, narrative, but also the gameplay is quite interesting. I think Sonic Unleashed is the one where you turn into a werewolf. I've seen some clips of it. You can go stupidly fast in that game to the point where it's impossible to see what the fuck's going on.
That's
great. The choice of being able to do that is interesting because it can get very difficult. And the type of open world 3D of that is very different to some other open world 3D games. And I think one thing that Sonic does, Mario, you can tell me if it does this. Does Mario games ever switch between 2D and 3D within the same level, a seamless transition from one to the other? Because Sonic does that a lot, and I really like it.
Sonic does do that quite a bit, for at least the modern, the ones that have 3D. Because I know they still occasionally make ones that are fully 2D. Mario rarely does it. They will
Like,
occasionally do it in 3D games, but usually the 3D games are mostly I the thing is they don't do the full seamless like 3D to 2D, but sometimes they have 3D sections where like you're up against a ledge and you can kind of only move back and forth and up and
Right.
down. You can't move like around.
Mhm.
So it pseudo does 2D, but not like Sonic does where it's like, no, you are going 2D. Like you could kind of move back and forth, but like the ledge is small, so there's not a whole lot of room. The counterpoint I will give to you is you mentioned Sonic kind of has some more variance in games. The thing with Mario is I feel like especially during like the DS and like Wii era, Mario, I mean, still is Nintendo's flagship like IP.
Yes.
So you got games like Mario Tennis and Mario Kart
Yep.
and like Super Sluggers and Mario Party, and like you kind of got a lot of party games that, to be honest, weren't really Mario games. They were just games that they threw the Mario IP on.
Mhm.
Now, I still think they were fun and they had kind of the Mario feel, but like, you know, you could have done Mario Party
And just had to be random
with
characters.
just like, and it just be like Mii's or just like random characters.
Yep.
Now, of course, you get the Mario twist where like Bowser's still the bad guy, and you get your wahoos and your you know all your sounds.
Mhm.
But I will say there is a lot of variance in like, you know, it's typically a 2D platformer, occasionally 3D platform, and then sometimes it's just a random ass game.
Yeah.
Like, there's like
yeah.
a soccer game.
Yeah, Mario to me has more variance in games that aren't Mario games. It's just games that has Mario in
Yes.
it. Which, I mean, is
Yeah.
a positive because if you're one of those people that like, you just really love Mario and the characters and you want to play a different type of game and Mario's in it, hey, good for you. I mean, I've heard very
And
good
I
things
re-
about Sluggers and
Yeah.
like, I've like,
I remember really enjoying Mario Super Sluggers, and it had a story mode to it too.
yeah, that's really good.
It was also multiplayer, which is helpful. Whereas, like, I don't know how many Sonic games are necessarily multiplayer.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I want to say Mania weirdly was, but I'm like, I don't know how it would have worked. Because the problem is when one person moves really fast, it can be a little difficult to control. But like, that's kind of the point of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you do split screen, how do you do two characters moving really fast? Is what, like, if you're not going at the same like kind of pace, or like, you know, one's a little too far behind, is one just dragging the other across the screen?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah,
But-
and if we're speaking out of our ass, we haven't played every game, so we don't know everything. So if there's things
Yeah,
we're
there's
missing,
probably something where we're wrong.
leave a comment below. But I think in general, I think obviously it comes down to personal preference, which one you like more.
I
I
agree.
personally find Sonic more interesting. I think Mario is like,
I think that's fair.
I think Mario's just, it's a good series. I think it's just very safe. It just does what it does well.
Mhm.
Doesn't try and push the envelope very much. I think Sonic is just a bit more interesting. I think the narrative is a bit more fun. I think the characters are definitely more interesting. Like, I'm sorry, no matter, even if you don't like Sonic's personality, you can't tell me he's not a more interestingly made character than Mario, because Mario doesn't have a personality.
Yeah.
It just
There is
doesn't
more
really
going
exist.
Yeah.
Except
No, I agree.
in the movie, which we can talk about.
And the movie. Yeah. I think we'll you know, we can get to the movie. I agree with you. The general consensus for the games is like Mario's just a little safer. You know what you're getting every time. It's a good casual fun.
Mhm.
It's a little more accessible to everyone because it tends to be a little on the easier side. But I do think if Sonic is your jam, it trumps Mario
Yeah.
because it's more there. It takes more risks. It's a little more interesting. There's a little more characterization. It's not just like generic guy goes from left to right. There's a little more to it. I remember liking the fact that there was a lot of like momentum based like physics in 2D Sonic game.
Mhm.
Like sometimes if I start running but I start going up a hill and I haven't given myself enough speed, I can't go up the hill. So I have to go back and get more of a running start and then start going. Or like you hit a loop-de-loop, but you're not going fast enough. You kind of go up and then you kind of fall down and then you can't continue your path. That was really interesting. You don't necessarily find that in Mario.
Yeah, you don't really,
pretty
you never
lenient.
get stuck and have to go back into Mario game, really.
Yeah.
Like very rarely. You have to like backtrack to like get more different coins or items sometimes, but like in Sonic, yeah, there are moments where, like you literally have to go back a bit to like build up enough speed to be able to do something properly.
I also found the Mario games were a lot more linear. Like usually there's like, one or two secret areas that you might find in a level. Whereas in a Sonic level, I'm running through that thing and I'm like, oh, there's a spot I could have gone. Oh, there's a spot I could have gone. Like I feel like I miss so much playing some of the Sonic game. Maybe not the 3D because they're a little more linear, but with the 2D maps, like first of all, the range of up and down you're going expands across your screen quite a bit.
There's like so many different paths because like every like new like section of a level, there's like a different rail you can go onto or a platform you can jump up onto. And I think that leads to Sonic being a lot more replayable as well because like there's so many different paths you can do. I don't know if it happens in the Sonic game you played, but like with Mario, when you finish a level, the only like completionist stuff you really get in the levels is getting all the like in Mario Wonder coins. It's like gold coins. Mario Wonder, it's like the stars, like the purple stars has plus 10 on them, whatever those are, and the Wonder Seeds. Whereas in Sonic, at the end of a stage, it will give you a ranking of like A to F, and you can like really optimize and max out like how good your run was. Like I was getting runs that was like a C plus, and I was like, fuck, I want to go back and do better on that. I don't really get the feeling that when I finish a Mario level, I want to go back and play it again. Whereas Sonic, I do get it.
Yeah. Mario, you gain points, but it's like a tiny little thing in the top left corner. And like, I don't know. It's just, there's so much less, like they don't like bring it up and, they don't throw the like A to F scale. It's just kind of like there and maybe you can beat it.
Yeah.
But I feel like no one really cares unless you're like, a speedrunner or, someone going for like the world record.
Yeah.
But in Sonic, like it blows it up. Like I remember playing Sonic Forces every single time. It's like, this is your rating and I get a B and I'm like, God, do I do this again? Like that kind of sucked. Like I
remember when I was younger, especially Sonic Heroes, which I really want to buy a DS and play it again. I remember if I didn't get an A, I would go back and play that level again and again and again until I got an A.
Yeah. So I think kind of overall, Mario kind of has a simplistic, like it works. It does the trick. You know what you're getting. Anyone can play it. Sonic, there's a little more to it. It's a little more interesting. It's also a little harder and a little more complex. And occasionally I think a little clunkier.
Yeah. It feels like the similar argument people give to like Skyrim and Oblivion, where like Skyrim's the more casual game.
100%.
And Oblivion's more like there's more you can do with it. There's more of a skill expression.
There's a better story.
Yeah,
it feels very much like that. It's a little I would 100% agree. I think it's a perfect comparison. They're both great. For all of you that wanted us to be like, I hate you. Sonic sucks. Mario's great. They're both great. They both have their differences. They both have their similarities.
Yeah.
It honestly, the Skyrim Oblivion comparison, I think is perfect.
Thank you. Proud of that.
Dan, you want to talk about that? You want to talk about that dang movie?
Yeah. So moving away from the games and into the other media, we'll skip TV shows because Mario doesn't really have any.
Mario doesn't really have any.
They have like the live action TV show, like the 80s or something, or like 90s or some shit. Not very
Mario
good.
Honestly doesn't have much media at all. Like there's that old like live action movie that was absolutely terrible, but it was also like it was the 80s, so it's kind of like who cares. And they have little snippets, but not a whole lot.
Whereas
Sonic was big.
Oh, there are. Let me search up quickly. Sonic, like excluding the 3 movies which have come out and have all been pretty well received.
All been pretty good.
There are so many TV shows. Just talking about TV shows, we have Sonic Prime, Sonic the Hedgehog original series from 1993. We have the Knuckles movie or TV show, which is its own thing as well. Sonic X, Sonic and Nazo Unleashed, whatever that is. Sonic for Hire, Sonic the Hedgehog 1996 series, Sonic Underground, which is the one I used to watch when I was young.
Yeah.
Sonic Colors, Rise of the Wisps, Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic Mania Adventures, Super Mario Bros. Z, which has Sonic in it. That's apparently a TV show that is both of them.
All right.
Sonic the Hedgehog, I think they're just showing the same one like 4 times. Sonic Shorts, then obviously my favorite, or probably the best Sonic show is Sonic Boom. If you haven't seen Sonic Boom, go watch it.
So good.
It is fucking hilarious. The writers, they wrote it basically for adults, because like a lot of the jokes are things that would just completely fly over kids' heads. Like Knuckles not being able to read, being a feminist, Like,
And yeah, not even like they're inappropriate. It's just they're funny
they're just like
jokes.
smart. They're very like smart written funny jokes. It's not like haha poop. It's like there's like decent intelligence behind them. It's like good sarcastic, witty humor. Sonic honestly is a dickhead. Like he is a bad dude.
Oh, he is.
But it's really
100%.
funny. Like Amy, who's like the pink hedgehog who's in love with Sonic, is like constantly trying to get Sonic to be her man. And Sonic's like, this bitch, get away. Like,
Get away from
it's
me. I
so
just
good.
gotta go fast.
So if you want to watch some funny media, Sonic Boom, I think Sonic Prime is the sequel to that show. Both very funny. But
And even the Sonic movie, like the Sonic movie was fun. It's nothing like crazy, but like they do a good job. They get the characters right. They have a good cast. Jim Carrey's great.
Yep.
It's all good stuff. It feels very faithful. It's a good kids movie. Let's get on to that Mario movie.
Yeah. So let me pull out my notes because I had to take some. Because I was watching
I
it.
love that you took notes.
Yeah, because I was watching it and I was
think
like,
it's great.
I'm going to forget some of these points and I need to remember them because there's some things about this movie that I think are a bit weird.
That's good. I watched it like maybe 2 months ago because I think that was, I want to say like 2 or 3 months ago. I was like, let's do this. And you're like, totally. And then we just kept pushing it back for like
A while.
procrastination / just other videos that we wanted to come out with. So I mostly remember.
I'll
but
try and
yeah,
refresh you on things. So
refresh my brain.
So I kind of wrote these as I was watching the movie, so these points are kind of in time, I guess. So the first thing, and this may be just because I don't know much about Mario or like not enough. I was really shocked when the movie started in the real world. I was not expecting that. And it
It's
felt
a strange one.
very weird.
And I don't actually think it's terribly accurate. I was kind of sad because when they start off with that commercial and they're doing the Mario voices, and I'm like, yeah, that's fun. That's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
And then they drop them and they're like, haha, that's stupid. And it's like, yeah, but it's accurate, isn't it?
Yeah, they switched to like,
And, like,
regular, like sort of like New Yorky-ish
I mean,
accents.
it's Chris Pratt and like Charlie Day.
Yeah.
Which are like, Chris Pratt exists. Charlie Day is a funny guy. Yeah.
So yeah, that whole start
Yeah.
was kind of strange. And then like the whole Mario movie to me felt like they were shitting on the character of Mario. Because like to me, he's like
Kind of.
the way he's portrayed in the games, he's this hero that comes and saves the princess. The way he's portrayed in the movie up until the very end, oh, this guy is a fucking loser. He can't do anything right. He can't get a job.
Yeah.
He makes no money. He's a failure. He's dragging his brother down with him. Even when he gets to the Mario world, it's like Princess Peach is like the one that's actually useful. Mario's just like a bumbling idiot the whole time.
Yeah.
And then eventually through, I don't know, some willpower, he manages to save the day. It didn't really feel like a very good hero's journey to me. It kind of just felt like he stumbled his
No.
way into victory, which was just kind of shit.
They really put the daddy issues in there like quite a bit.
Yeah.
Like way more than you would have expected.
Like,
Yeah,
I-
it's yeah.
I didn't need Mario to come in and be like, oh, he's like the god. But like, I just felt like they were just like tearing the man down for like an hour straight for no reason.
Maybe the producers hired Chris Pratt and then just hated him. And they're like, we gotta shit on Chris Pratt specifically, which I got nothing against the guy. He's just it was a weird the choice to make him the main character was not due to quality, it was due to it's a known actor and this will make us money, which is the slogan for this movie.
Yes.
Because just to let everyone know, this movie came out 2023, I
Yep.
think.
Yeah.
When theaters were kind of dying down, especially like after COVID, this movie made over $1 billion. I don't know the last movie. This might have been the last movie that has made over $1 billion at the box office.
Possibly. There's a chance. No, Deadpool Wolverine, I think did.
Oh yeah, I think it did. But still, like, I mean, I'm gonna pull up highest grossing films. We'll keep talking, but it's
Well, I guess speaking about like the goal to make money, I think this is my biggest problem with the movie, and I will see if you agree with me, is I don't know who the audience for this movie is. I don't know who the fuck they're making it for. Because at points you're like, oh, this is a Mario movie. It's animated, it's cute, there's a simple plot line. It's definitely for kids. And then like randomly through the movie, there's like a joke of like, oh, I'm gonna kill myself, and like this like floating like ghost baby in the jail is like is like really like dark and cynical, and like that feels extremely out of place. And there's just some other things in the movie that like didn't feel like an 8-year-old should be watching this.
Yeah.
I couldn't, like, it felt like they tried to make the movie for everyone, and it just felt very strange to me.
It definitely like gives off that it's a kid's movie, but then they occasionally like, yeah, it's a Luma that wants to kill itself, which by the way, not at all how it acted in the, like, in Mario Galaxy. I mean, I know what they're trying to get like, oh, it's cute, and oh, it's saying like not cute stuff. Haha, that's funny.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of stuff in here where like, what I kind of appreciated and kind of was like, okay, it's a show. There's a lot of references to a lot of different things spanning Mario games.
Yep.
I thought they were just going to reference like all of the most popular stuff and nothing else. But there's some like more niche references in there. And you're like, especially, I guess for my generation, it worked pretty well because I'm like, oh, that's something from like New Super Mario Bros. And oh, that's from Galaxy. And that's from this game. Like I could point out like,
yeah,
this is a reference not that has spanned all of Mario, but has spanned like one particular Mario game.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool, but then I'm like, okay, well, kids aren't gonna know that because they didn't play Mario 64.
Yeah,
I will say
Sunshine.
Sunshine.
The one positive note I did write down, which sounds like I hated it. I didn't hate it, but it's just the only positive note I thought to write was the animation is really good. Like it is a very well-made
looks really
movie.
Good.
Plus, and I did say
it looks really good.
Like what you said before, there are a lot of really good references for fans of the movie, which I think is a good thing to do. But again, it's like, if you're making this for kids, having all these references that they won't know is kind of a bit awkward. But then for older fans, it's really good. But then if the older fans are watching it and then it's like a kid's movie, again, it's just kind of like a weird thing of like who you're making the movie for. I didn't watch the Minecraft movie, but I think from what I've heard, it sort of had the same problem of like they're trying to make it enticing for kids, but then there's a lot of like references and jokes and stuff that like only adults will like understand and get, which I think you can do that. Like I know there's a lot of like kids shows that do that. Like you grow up and like, oh, that was a sex joke and you didn't realize. I just think Mario was a bit too on the nose. It was like the Sprite thing, whatever his name is, literally said like, I want to kill myself, or like, I can't wait for the sweet release of death, I think was the line exactly.
That's kind of harsh for like a kid.
Yeah.
That's a little difficult. Yeah. Looking at this, so it is the 18th highest grossing movie. So it's further down than I thought. It made $1.3 billion.
That's crazy.
But again, I do preface that is after COVID. The only movie that has made more money than that movie since it released in 2023. Barbie got released the same year, so they might have been around. But it's looking like Inside Out 2 made 1.7 billion, or just shy of 7 billion, instead of 1.36. And then everything else, oh no, a movie I've never heard of came out this year and made more money.
What's it called?
It's Chinese.
Neza
2.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
I have never heard of that.
Yeah, I've seen clips of
it.
it.
$2 billion.
The animation is ridiculous.
Okay. I would also imagine it probably just did incredibly well in China.
Probably, yeah. And just Asia in general. But yeah, we'll move on to the rest of my notes and we can discuss things.
Yeah.
So I don't know when in the movie I wrote this down. I think I wrote it before they went into the Mario world, like the Flower Kingdom, whatever. Mushroom Kingdom. And I wrote that Luigi's character feels very different to how I've seen him in game. I feel like, I mean, both the characterizations of the characters was like different because they're not really following much in the game. But like in the, before Luigi got, fucking teleported to Bowser's castle and was out of the movie for like an hour, he felt like, very like stable and normal. And then suddenly switched to being like an absolute nightmare of a mess of a character very quickly.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a scene where Mario and Luigi are running through the city where Mario's like doing all these sick moves and like parkouring and Luigi's just like stumbling through and then a mess. And then like a bit later, Mario's trying to do parkour like in the Mushroom Kingdom and he's failing. It just felt like a bit weird to show that Mario's really competent at doing all this stuff. And then 20 minutes later, he's a complete mess. That felt really weird to me. And then, yeah, Luigi's character, I mean, I know they probably put Luigi where they did to show like, oh, he's the scaredy cat guy that goes to the bad place
Yeah.
and has to deal with it. But like, he just felt pointless. He just didn't even need to be there.
Yeah, they just had to include him. I think a lot of the character writing was A, inconsistent, but B, inaccurate to the like games, which again is weird to say because there's not a whole lot of story, but you get in the 3D games, you get some more story.
Well, I mean,
in
like,
some of the like random offshoot games, you get more of it.
The main
and a lot of them
story-
don't feel accurate.
Yeah, the main story of Mario, story, quotations, is Bowser steals the princess, Mario has to go find her. That wasn't in this movie. I mean, at the very end
Yeah.
it was, but like it wasn't like, oh, Mario's in this kingdom, met the princess, and then Bowser takes her away. It was Mario and Peach are fighting Bowser together, and then eventually Peach gets taken away due to her own decision to like go with him. And I guess that can lead me into the big thing. I really, 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 really do not like the Bowser love plotline. I think it is garbage. I love Jack Black, and the song's funny, and I really like him as an actor. I think the decision to make Bowser this lovesick, emotional, sappy guy is just garbage. I just do not think it's good.
You can do that well. However, I don't think they did, because then he's going off and he's destroying everything, and it's like, okay, well, I know that you can have characters where like they have a thought of how reality is and it's not how reality is, and like obviously destroying everything wouldn't work for Peach, but like there's no way anyone would think that that would work.
No.
And he doesn't act it in a way of like, haha, you're mine, you don't have a choice, which is kind of how Bowser does things. He's like, no, you do love me. You like,
yeah, it felt like
I'm gonna take you and you'll see. And it just
like,
kind of didn't make
even compared to like Mario Wonder, which I played, and from what I can remember of like Super Mario 64, Bowser's like just an evil dude. He takes what he wants.
Yeah.
He laughs evilly. He's not an emotional dude. Whereas in this, they just like, they change his character so much. I maybe they're trying to make it funny for the kids' film. I think it would have been much better if Bowser was just an evil force. He tried to steal the stars. He took Peach away because he's trying to like destructure the kingdom, since she's like the lead of the kingdom. And like he takes her away, so they go into like disarray, and he tries to destroy it. That would have been a better plot line, in my opinion.
That makes sense.
Instead of like,
I think the thing is,
what happened,
they casted Jack Black, which is not a problem, but then they kind of had to make him like Jack Black.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with Chris Pratt. He doesn't sound like Mario. It's honestly the same thing with Donkey Kong. He sounds like Seth Rogen.
Yep.
He kind of acts like Seth Rogen.
I'm going to be honest. I think the best character, like the best casted and voiced character in the whole thing, was probably Cranky Kong. I really like Cranky.
I was gonna say I love Cranky Kong. Also, I'm pretty sure it's Fred Armisen.
Yep. It is.
Fantastic.
I think
really
he did really
enjoyed
well.
that. And he's a good,
Because I know Fred
he's a
Armisen's
good
not
actor.
as famous as Chris Pratt or Seth Rogen, but like I didn't listen to Cranky and think, oh, that's Fred Armisen. Whereas you listen to Donkey Kong and think, oh, that's Seth Rogen. You listen to Bowser,
You
oh, that's Jack
immediately
Black.
like, that's Seth Rogen. That's Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also
Fred Armisen, he put on a voice, and that's the thing, is he's a guy that can put on voices. Seth Rogen is known for sounding like Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
Chris Pratt has never done any other accent than Chris Pratt. Stop hiring voice actors that aren't voice actors. I understand it's to make money.
Yeah.
Stop it.
And then we can talk about Peach, where like, so this is going to make me sound like a misogynist. I think I was expecting, due to the nature of the games, Prince being like the princess that gets taken away, I was kind of expecting her to be like, not as useful as she was.
Oh, she's incredible. She like is the main character.
She's like
in
the
sense
goat
of like ability.
Like
I
was watching the movie and I was like, Mario could have sat in the kingdom and done nothing, and I think the
He could have
outcome
done
would have been
nothing.
the same. Like Peach was like,
and I think it's
so
like,
OP. She was like so competent, which isn't a bad thing in general. It's just very different to what I expected from her character, knowing the games. It was just like Mario just didn't feel like the main character in the movie. It felt like a sidekick that he was just like joining along for the ride.
every once in a while you get a movie and you're like, if I take out this one small detail, nothing changes. Like, I can't remember what the movie was, but they're basically like, they're like, if you take the main character out and they never got involved, the same Raiders of the Lost Ark. There we go. If Indiana Jones is not in the movie, the exact same things happen. You've seen the movie?
No,
right?
no, I haven't seen it.
So essentially, he's an archaeologist. It's 1940s. It's like Nazi Germany. They're in, I don't know, Egypt or the Middle East or some, Africa somewhere, and they find like an old, like Christian tomb thing. It's the Lost Ark.
Yep.
And they take it, and he kind of helps them find it, but they were also kind of on their way to finding it anyways. They end up taking it. It ends the movie with them opening it, and everyone that looks dies, and then the tomb closes, and then they leave.
Yes.
If Indiana Jones wasn't in the movie, they would have eventually found it and still opened it up and all died.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good movie, but like, you take him out, nothing would happen. I almost feel like the Mario movie was like, if you take Mario out, Princess Peach would have just gotten her shit together.
Yeah, I think the only part of the movie that sort of makes up for that, and I think was probably my favorite sequence, is when they're back in the real world at the very end, where they get teleported back there. And then Mario has like a good scene of like actually fighting Bowser with the superstar. That's a good sequence, but it doesn't feel very earned, because the whole time Mario
everything feels like it just happens.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like there's a reason for things to happen. It just sort of, it does feel like Mario's just there along for the ride, and not that he's like earned and worked hard for this outcome. It just feels like it's just kind of lazy writing. I don't think it's necessarily bad. It's just like, yeah, that happened. All right, sure.
It's a very mid movie, and it's very much a movie where you're like, I can tell this movie's making money. Like, it didn't feel like a movie that was there for the purpose of being a good movie.
No.
It was just good enough that people will watch it, and just good enough that they'll rewatch it with their kids.
Yeah.
And it'll make money.
Whereas, like,
and it did.
In comparison, I think the Sonic movie and also Detective Pikachu, which is a similar type of like game to movie, I think do a little bit better with like the plot and like working towards the outcome and the characters having more. Like, if you take Sonic out of the movie doesn't happen. Like, it's a very big difference. Same with Detective Pikachu. If you take out Pikachu, Ryan Reynolds, you get a very different movie.
It doesn't happen.
I'm looking through my notes again. I do actually have another positive note. I don't know how much this was done, but it was done at the very start. I think some of the scenes where they go 2D to show like the 2D side scroller, like Mario jumping up, I think that was really well done. I think that was really cool. Yeah. Now I'm going to move on to my other negatives, because there are 3 things apart from the Bowser love plotline that completely took me out of the movie, and I was just like, I can't deal with this sometimes.
Sure.
So one, an overarching thing, I felt like the pacing was really fast.
It was a quick movie, and there was a lot that happened.
Yeah, there were points where I was like, can we slow down? They're getting from like point A to point B like that. Like, it was so quick. It like everything felt like it happened within like 30 minutes. Like, going from the Mushroom Kingdom to Donkey Kong's Kingdom, the fight, getting the cars, getting everyone on board, going back to Rainbow Road, everything happened so quick. There's no time to breathe, really.
This is like a 90-minute movie.
Yeah, I think it could have been longer.
And they do a lot.
I think it either needs to be longer, or they just cut out. Because like the opening sequence where they're in New York is like 20 minutes or something.
It's weirdly really, it is. I think it's 20 minutes.
They could have cut that down for sure.
They're here for a long time.
Yeah, I think they could have cut that down. It would have been better. But that's, whatever. Pacing's slow.
Sure.
The biggest gripe I have with this movie by far is the music choices.
Oh God, it was again. It's one of those things where you're like, you do it because you make money. It's just needle drop after needle drop.
Yeah,
like, hey, here's a song everyone knows. Let's put it in.
So I think I wrote down 3 of them. So I think the first scene where they're running through the city in New York, you have No Sleep Till Brooklyn, a little bit on the nose, but just like like a very, very popular movie song. Then you have Thunderstruck, which is like the most overused movie song maybe of all time. It is in so many fucking films. You have Take On Me as well. And I think there's like another like AC/DC or Metallica song or something that was in there. I just like, every single time there was a needle drop, I was like, I've heard this song a million times. It takes me completely out of the movie because, this is a fantasy world. they've gone into, why are we listening to songs that happened in our world in like the 90s and 2000s? Can we like make some original music or pick some more obscure things? Please, for the love of God. It actually like annoyed me so much. I paused the movie to like contemplate. Especially, I think it was Thunderstruck, because Thunderstruck was like the third or fourth like big needle drop, and I'm like, I'm getting sick of this, man. They need to switch it up.
They put in Mr. Blue Sky in there, which like if Guardians of the Galaxy hadn't happened, never would have batted an eye.
Yeah,
but it did.
I mean,
also I like making hyper specific lists where you take two movies that are like completely different movies, and you're like, but you find just all the similarities that are hyper specific. And let me see if I can find this list. It's basically between
Guardians 3 also had No Sleep Till Brooklyn, and then this did. So I'm like,
oh my God. Yeah, I think, let me look at
it's
the
bad.
list
I think
that
it's
wrote here.
I think using popular songs in general is not a bad thing. I think it's bad when you use popular songs that have also been popular in other big movies. Because like I'm watching this, listening to the No Sleep Till Brooklyn scene, and I'm just thinking of the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 fight scene that uses that song, or like Thunderstruck, where it's used in a lot of other big movies as well. And I'm like, it just like, it takes me out of this movie specifically, and I'm watching this movie because I want to watch this movie. I'm not wanting to think of another one when I'm watching it. Give me some unique music.
Yeah.
You know?
All right, so I got this. Movies where Chris Pratt listens to Mr. Blue Sky in a world not of his own, and he fights out of this world creatures with a gang of out of this world creatures. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and Super Mario Bros.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It just is.
There's so much needle dropping in this movie.
Yeah, which I don't mind a good needle drop. My favorite like needle drops of all time
good needle drop
are in Arcane. Like every episode has like a fucking music video into it, and I think it's done super well. I think Guardians of the Galaxy and then recently Superman, basically James Gunn is like maybe the goat of needle drops. He's really good at it.
He's pretty good at it.
This one is just, it was just, the song choice was just,
but they make sense too.
Too basic. They were just so basic. It just pissed me off. So that was one thing. And then the final sort of main thing I have that I did mention last episode on the podcast as well is the fuck ass post-credit MCU Yoshi scene. I was done with the movie.
That's so stupid.
I didn't care anymore at this point, but you ever seen where like Yoshi's cracking out of the egg like it's Thanos, and I was like, I can't be fucked. Why are they doing this? It's so unnecessary.
The Sonic movie like kind of does it with Tails, but it like it was a bit done better. It still kind of had that like, whoa, the next character, the Yoshi thing. It's just another character. It's not even like, because a lot of times those end credit things, which I think at this rate end credits are kind of like overdone, and I don't really want to see them anymore. I'm kind of tired of them. But like a lot of time, the best end credit would be, you know, you just defeated Loki, and then it's boom Thanos, and you're like, oh my god, that is a big bad. That would be so cool to see him next. Yoshi's another good guy.
Yeah.
He also doesn't talk. I mean, none of them really talk, but like he especially doesn't talk. He's a fucking dinosaur.
Yeah, and that's why like, I think the Tails one is a bit more understandable, because Tails is like Sonic's best friend. Like, very talkative character, has a big impact on the plot.
Sonic is like the only character from his world in the Sonic movie. Outside of like at the very beginning, they have like a little bit of his world. But it's mostly just Sonic in this main world.
Yeah.
The fact that Tails then enters it is like, oh, cool, we're getting more Sonic characters. Where it's like, you had half the Mario characters in this movie.
They even show some Yoshis like in the background of one of the scenes where they're going to the other kingdom.
Yeah.
So it's like, we've already seen these characters before, but this is just another version of that character.
I would have thought we'd get like a Wario or a Waluigi.
Yeah, that would make more sense to me. Like, I think a great setup for a second movie would have been like, seeing Wario and Waluigi, maybe they're also plumbers from New York, from like a rival plumbing company, find the pipe and go in. That would have been way better, because it would have made sense. But no,
that would have been cool.
Just Yoshi, whatever his fucking name is.
Yeah.
That was, it doesn't obviously affect my enjoyment of the movie. I was just like, this is dumb. This is just dumb.
It's stupid. But
I mean, like, I'd give the Mario movie like a 5 or 6 out of 10. It was fine.
I agree. I didn't have a bad time watching it. Like, I didn't sit there and go, God, that was a waste of my time. But I did sit there and go, it's just a little too on the nose. It felt corporate almost. Yeah. And you're like, you know this works, but it doesn't have the charm. Whereas like the Sonic movie, it had the charm. And the Sonic shows, oozing with charm.
Yeah. I think,
dripping,
yeah, I think,
sopping wet with charm.
I think it probably just does come back to that thing again of like Nintendo know they can get away with just putting out a fine, mediocre
100%.
product. I think
And they
that's-
did.
Yeah. And it
They
made like
100% did. We proved them
a ton of
right.
money. I wonder, can you do a quick, I can do a quick Google search. I want to see if the Mario movie made more than the Sonic ones combined.
Ooh.
Because
Let me
honestly,
look. I
it
can-
might have. Oh, okay. So the three films together, no, it has. The three films together made 1 billion and 61 million, which is less than the 1.3 billion the Mario movie made. Did you say?
Oh, like 1.2.
Yeah. So three Sonic movies that have a lot of plot,
They
character,
actually didn't do that well at the
humor.
box office.
did worse than one Mario movie.
Or it was 1.3, I think. Yeah, the Mario movie crushed the three of them. That's crazy.
I mean, the
But
only
also
the
sounds
only
about right.
argument we really need to have is that like Jim Carrey said he was retiring from cinema and he came back for the golden script, which was Sonic 3.
Which is amazing.
Like, I think that's all we need to say. Like, that's just perfect.
Yeah.
And we've
But I
like the
mean-
Knuckles. Is it the show or is it a movie? The Knuckles thing. It's a
show.
It's a mini series with Idris Elba.
Yeah.
And like again, like the Sonic. Like Idris Elba is like a big actor, but I think from what I've seen the clips of Knuckles, he plays the character well, and you're not like mad about it. I think you can have big celebrities do voice acting roles and do well. I think the best
You
example.
just gotta get the right one.
Yeah, the best examples recently have been like Haley Steinfeld, who plays Gwen in Spider-Verse and Vi in Arcane. She's really good at it. And then Ella Purnell, who plays Jinx in Arcane. Brilliant job. Like, you can
Yeah.
have good voice
Or-
actors. It's just that you pick Chris
I
Pratt
mean,
for no reason.
Yeah, you also look at like Studio Ghibli movies that are, I mean, they're
Yeah, you had
older,
Robin
but, like, they
Pattinson.
have bomb ass like voice actors that are, but like also just really big character or actors, and then you get them to voice act and they all do really well. It's not, they didn't get Robert Pattinson so that they could get that, get that star power. They did
Mhm.
probably a little bit, but also did a really good job. You get like a Mark Hamill. You get, I mean, God, they've had some crazy like voice actors in there. They got Christian Bale.
Yep.
Like, they do it well, and you can do it well. Mario movie just get anyone. Like Keegan Michael Key.
Toad.
God, he plays Toad, and it's like that doesn't make sense.
I think he did all
I
right
don't
with
fault
it.
him at all. He did fine. Anya Taylor-Joy played Peach. Like literally every like character is like a big name actor.
Yeah, and I feel bad for the voice acting community because like not only would they be better at it because they're trained voice actors that can do different voices,
Mhm.
but like they're also like missing out on opportunities just because they're not a regular actor. Which just kind of suck.
Yeah.
But is what it is.
Yeah. That is what it is. I think we can kind of wrap this up here. Moral of the story, I think Mario vs. Sonic, it's kind of what you're looking for. If you're looking for more casual and kind of easy going and consistent, you go Mario. You want a little bit more of a challenge, you want a little bit more personality,
Narrative.
go for a Sonic.
Yeah.
You get a little more narrative, you go for a Sonic. If you want to watch media, just watch Sonic.
Like
Don't watch Mario.
the Sonic shows are like some of them are cheesy. Of course, Sonic is a very like cheesy character, but they're
It's
all
still a kid's
they're
show.
all good. Like they're just all
It's good.
just like solid.
It's entertaining. Yeah. So I think that's kind of a good summary. I think we've brought a good amount of input. I'm
Yeah.
sure there's more.
And I mean,
input out
hey,
there.
maybe we
we don't want-
revisit the topic on an episode a year or two from now when I've
Yeah.
played more games or something, or like if there's a second Mario movie, I'm sure we'd talk about that because maybe
we
they
can talk about
improve
that.
some of the issues.
Yeah.
Because I mean, what I'd love to see from a second Mario movie is get rid of Bowser, bring Wario and Waluigi into it. I think that'd be a much
Give
more
me a different
interesting
villain.
plot.
Yeah. And maybe one day we look at like the real retro like Mario games, like the original Mario
Yep.
and the original Sonic, and we kind of go through those because those honestly can be very different games.
For sure. And who knows? Maybe one day we get a Mario vs Sonic movie. I think that'd be kind of cool.
True. Could be pretty sweet. I mean, they've gone toe to toe
Multiple times.
before, every 2 years for a while.
Sure.
With the Olympics.
Yeah, they do. But yeah, I think that's where we're at. If you have any of your own thoughts and opinions, you can tell us we're wrong. You can tell us things we've missed out on. which game series do you prefer? Are you a Sonic fan or a Mario cuck? Let me know in the comments below.
Well, all right. Also, Dan said you could say, what we got wrong. Tell us what we got right. You can gas us up a little bit if you really need to.
Yeah, that'd be helpful.
If you have to. I mean,
Yeah.
No,
if you have,
give us your honest comments.
If you have a suggestion for a Mario or Sonic game to play that would change our opinions on the games, that would be great as well.
Let us know. But I think with that, we can say goodbye for now.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.